Hey guys, it's Jan here. In this video titled The Compounding Power of 1 ITM per day, I'm going to demonstrate to you why less is actually more. Okay, why you just need to go for 1 ITM per day. As you know, we aim for an average of 67%, which is the equivalent of 2 ITMs and 1 OTM. On the 14th of January, which was a Friday, we ended the day with 9 ITMs and 6 OTMs. Now that's a profitable 60%. However, if you break it down, this is what it looks like, okay? 9 ITMs at $7.50 each, okay? This is assuming that we're doing $10 stake sizes and the return on investment is 75%. You know, if we do the 30-minute options that we do, the return is typically anything between, say, 72 and 83%. Just depends on the broker and also the time of the day. But 75% return is more or less the average. So one trade will give you $7.50. And 9 trades will give you $67.50 in profit for the 9 ITMs. The 6 OTMs at $10 each will give you a loss of $60. So after 9 ITMs and 6 OTMs, which is a pretty tough day, you would have made a profit of $7.50, which is the equivalent of just 1 ITM. So if a trader gets 2 ITMs and 1 OTM in a session, this is what the profit or loss for the day will look like. So the ITMs, that will be $7.50 times 2, and then the OTM will be then minus $10. So the total profit will be $15, $15 from the 2 ITMs, and then the OTM obviously minus $10, which will give you a total net profit of $5 for that specific session. So 2 ITMs and 1 OTM gives you a profitable $5 for that session. And 1 ITM would have given you $7.50 profit for that same session. So knowing what we now know, it makes sense to go for just 1 ITM per day. If you want to follow all the signals, you can, but you just need to know that if you want to make more money than just the 1 ITM, you will have to increase your stake size after you had a loss. And I will record a completely separate video on this. Okay, you don't double up after every loss. There's a certain formula that you use. And I will make a video after the end of this week, because then we will have 4 weeks of data that I can use to demonstrate to you what the account would have looked like if you started with, say, a $500 account. If you only have $250 in your account, you can't actually double up or increase your stake size after a loss. You have to stick to the exact same stake sizes, and you just need to do 1 ITM. That's the very best way to grow your account. Okay, so less is definitely more. Don't try and catch more than 1 ITM because there will be losses. You know, we do about on average 63-64%. Okay, week 1 was 67%, week 2 was 62%, and then week 3 was 65%. So that's all the equivalent of roughly 2 ITMs and 1 OTM, and that's what I said in the previous video. That is what we should get on average. Okay, so if you know that, then you'll know that if your very first trade for the day is an ITM, and you don't trade bigger after a loss, you will make more profit with that 1 ITM compared to 2 OTMs and 1 or 2 ITMs and 1 OTM. Okay, so this is what it looks like on a spreadsheet. I just want to show you what your account will grow into, starting with a $250 account and go for just 1 ITM a day. So if you look at week 1, you'll see that the profit for the week, but this is based on a $25 stake size. You can see the trade size is 25, and your profit after 5 days, obviously 1 week, will be $93.75. So your $250 account will, at the end of the first week, stand on $343.75. And then in the second week, it will grow to $437, and then you can see at the end of the 4th week, your account will grow to $625.50, all the way from $250, and that's just with 1 ITM per day. Okay. Now the other thing you need to, well, you know this anyway, is that not your first trade won't always be an ITM. You may get an OTM. In that case, what you do is you trade until you are ahead for the day. You will know that almost every single day you will at some stage be ahead of the game. So after week 4, your account will stand on $625.50. It may actually be slightly less than that, okay? Because simply because when you trade, and your first trade is an OTM, you do a second trade. If you do the second trade, and that's an ITM, then you will end up with a slight loss for the day. Now you can continue to take the next trade and the trade thereafter and just try to get ahead, just slightly in profit when you stop for the day. But it's also okay to stop after you had a loss and then an ITM, and just stop for the day with a slight loss. That's fine, okay? But at the end of the 4 weeks, so I've done this before, I know this works. If you do this after the end of week 4, your account will be very, very close to that amount, the amount of $625. If you look at the second month, week 5 to week 8, you'll see that your stake size have doubled now. So in the second month, you double the stake size, and your profits will then go from $93.75 per week to $187.50 per week. And then you can see in week 5 your account value will be standing on $813, and then at the end of week 8 your account will be standing on $1,375.50. Okay, all the way from $250. Okay, so you'll be watching this just before our session. Let's have a great day.